Yep, that's who I am, so the request kind of works pretty good. Well, it's about 7 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shovels in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can you play me a memory? Really not sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la. Oh, sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. Now John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free. He's quick with a joke and he used to light up a smoke. Not anymore, someplace he'd rather be. He says, Bob, I believe this is killing me. As a smile ran away from his face. I know I could be a movie star if I could get out of this place. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling alright. Hey Dylan, welcome to the piano bar. Now Paul, he's a real estate novelist. He never had time for a wife. He's talking to Davy, still in the Navy, and he'll be there for the rest of his life. Waitress is practicing politics while the businessmen slowly get stoned. They're sharing a drink they call loneliness. It's better than drinking alone. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. Now, it's a pretty good crowd for a Saturday, but we're just getting started. And the manager gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me they've been coming to see. Forget about life for a while. Hey Dylan, I'm playing, that makes it a great day. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival. Microphone smells like a beer. They sit at the bar, they put bread in my jaw. Say, man, what are you doing here? La 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 la. La 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 la. Song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. Oh, sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, that's the one that got Billy Joel started for sure. So one of the new songs that I learned by him that I was surprised to find out is one. I found my thrill on the Blueberry Hill, on the Blueberry Hill. When I found you, the moon stood still on the Blueberry Hill, and it lingered until all my dreams come true. Oh, the wind in the willow plays love's sweet melodies, and all of the vows we made were never to be. Though we're apart, you know you're part of me still, 'cause you were my thrill on the Blueberry Hill. Oh, the wind in the willow plays love's sweet melodies, and all of the vows we made outside were never to be. Though we're apart, you know you're part of me still, 'cause you were my thrill on the Blueberry Hill. Yes, you were my thrill on the Blueberry Hill. Yeah, that's the Fat Man, Fats Domino. Here's two songs about unconditional love. One's kind of subtle, the other one just comes out right out and says it. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around, finally found somebody who could make me be true, could make me feel blue, and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross, try to be boss, but they wouldn't do. For nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, dear, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It just had to be you. So that was one of the most requested songs over the last 25 years of playing in nursing homes. I can't tell you, there's been so many things amazing that happened when I played this song. And one time I was doing it and singing it, and I realized what it is. Because this whole song is about unconditional love. And I would start to tell the story, to tell the folks about when you fall in love, everything's perfect. That's why you fall in love. And you get married, and everything's perfect, and then there's always some people snickering. Yeah. We've all been there. But eventually something's gonna happen. He puts too much salt in the food. She don't take the trash out ever. I mean, really, come on, give me a break. So eventually they're not perfect. And that's when you find out what the real deal is. You gotta know that when they find out you're not perfect, they're still gonna love you. Nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It just had to be you. Now, I thought that was the only song that actually said it, and then I realized Billy Joel said it even better. Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before. Now don't imagine you're too familiar, and I don't love you anymore. I would not leave you in times of trouble, but we never could have got that far. I took the good times, I'll take the bad times, I'll take you just the way you are. Now don't go trying some new fashion. Don't change the color of your hair. You always have my unspoken passion, although I might not seem to care. I don't want clever conversation. I never want to work that hard. I just want someone that I can talk to. I love you just the way you are. I need to know that you will always be that same old someone that I knew. What will it take till you believe in me the way that I believe in you? I said I love you, that's forever, and it's a meaning from my heart. I just could not love you any better. I love you, I love you, oh I love you just the way you are. Oh yeah, that's Billy Joel. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I left love cause it wasn't funny. You came along and you moved me, honey. Oh baby, you're driving me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Come on and kiss me, baby. You know it feels so good. Come on and hold me, darling. I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, you're so kind. I'm gonna tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. You chew my nails and you twittle my thumbs. I am nervous, but it sure is fun. Oh, baby, you're driving me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. You know it feels so damn good. Come on and hold me, darling. I want to love you like a lover should. Well, you're fine, you're so kind. I'm gonna tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. To chew my nails and to twiddle my thumbs. I am nervous, but it sure is fun. Oh, baby, you're driving me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna remember this. When I used to do this at the Mission Ranch, I'd say something like, that was the 50s. We wouldn't say what we really meant back then. You don't care for me, and I don't care about that. You got a new fool, and I like it like that. I have only one burning desire. Let me stand next to your fire, yeah. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand. You say your kids ain't home, that's not my concern. Don't play it with me and then you won't get burned. I have only one itching desire. Let me stand next to your fire, yeah. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand. Now move over, Rover, and let Jimmy take over. You know what I'm talking about. He's up there somewhere. Kissing me, baby, you know it feels so damn good. Come on and hold me, darling. I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine, you're so kind. I'm gonna tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I am nervous, but it sure is fun. Oh, baby, you drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Yeah, that's a little rock and roll. I was thinking of Johnny Mercer tunes. Gather around me, everybody. Gather around me while I testify. I feel a sermon coming on. Topic will be sin, 'cause that's what I'm again. You want to hear my story, just sit on down, don't be uptight. While I review the attitude of doing right, you got to accentuate the positive, eliminate all that negative, latch on to the affirmative. And don't you mess with Mr. In-Between. You gotta spread your joy up to the maximum and bring the blues right down to the minimum. Watch out our pandemonium, surely gonna make the scene. To illustrate my last remark, think about Jonah in a whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything looked so dark? They said you got to accentuate the positive, eliminate all that negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't you mess with Mr. In-Between. Don't you mess with Mr. In-Between. Illustrate my last remark, think about Jonah in a whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything looked so dark? they said you got to accentuate the positive, eliminate all that negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't you mess with Mr. In-Between. Don't you mess with Mr. In-Between. Don't you mess with Mr. In-Between. Yeah, we gotta accentuate the positive. So a lot of times what I'm trying to do on Friday is do all the songs I don't get to do the rest of the week. Some that are different don't fit into a category, although they all fit into one or the other. This is one of the new ones that I finally learned. Well, I met a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you in worn-out shoes, ragged shirt, sandy hair, and baggy pants, and the old soft shoe. And he jumped so high, then he lightly touched down. Well, I met him in a cell in New Orleans. I was down and out. He looked at me to be the eyes of age. He traveled about and he talked of life, slapped his leg all around. Oh, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. Well, he said his name Bojangles and he danced a lick across the cell. He grabbed his pants, a better stance, he jumped up high, and he clicked his heels, and he let go a laugh, and shook his leg all around. He said, I danced for minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. And he talked of tears of 15 years his dog and he, they traveled about. And his dog upped and died. After 20 years he still grieved. Oh, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. So when I'm playing in the piano bar, I always say something like, with the music, you can be anywhere. When you close your eyes, you get in that kind of half-conscious, semi-conscious, hypnagogic, I think they call it. You're there, you're enjoying yourself, having a couple of drinks. And I'd say something like, you know, here we are, we're down in New Orleans. There's a guy over in the corner. And all of a sudden he gets a look. And he starts gliding across the floor. He's picking up some speed here. Getting ready for a little bit of a jump. Here come the big finish. Now he's dancing on the ceiling. Well, not quite. how I dance at every chance in honky tonks for drinks and tips. Most of the time I spend behind these county bars. You see, I drinks a bit, and then he let go a laugh, let go a laugh. I heard someone ask him, please, oh, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. Jerry Jeff Walker, Mr. Bojangles. This is my new favorite song combination. If I'm not careful, this is going to turn into an opera. Starts out on a very dark and lonely night. And our hero is walking along the road. And out of the blue, the answer to his dreams comes true. It's a marvelous night for a moon dance, with stars up above in your eyes. Fantabulous night to make romance, neath the color of October skies. All the leaves on the trees are falling to the sounds of the breezes that blow. I'm trying to yield to the calling, my heartstrings that play soft and low. You know the night's magic seem to whisper and hush. That soft moonlight seemed to shine in your blush. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? Well, I want to make love with you tonight. I can't wait till the morning is come. I know now the time is just right. Straight into my arms we'll run. But there and then my heart will be waiting. Make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. And then I will make you my own. And every time I touch you, you just tremble inside. And I know how much you want me there. You can't hide. Oh, can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? One more moon dance. One more moon dance. One more moon dance. And that's when things started to turn sour. Just looked at him and now it was just one of those things, just one of those crazy flings, one of those bells that now and then ring. It was just one of those things. It was just one of those nights, just one of those fabulous flights, a trip to the moon on gossamer wing. It was just one of those things. If we thought a bit about the end of it, when we started painting the town, we'd been aware that this love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we'll meet now and then. It was great fun. It was just one of those things. If we thought a bit about the end of it, when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware our love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we'll meet now and then. It was great fun. It was just one of those things. Woo. Yeah, just one of those things and Moondance. Okay. This is when you can't figure out the book of love. This is what you got to do. I took my troubles down to Madame Ruth. You know, the gypsy with the gold cap shoes. She's got a shop at 34th and Vine, selling little bottles of Love Potion number 9. I told her that I was a flop with chicks. I've been that way since 1956. She looked at my palm, she made the magic sign. She said, what you need is Love Potion number 9. Then she bent down and turned around and gave me a wink. She said, I'm going to mix it up right here in the sink. It smelled like turpentine, it looked like India ink. I held my nose, I closed my eyes, I took a drink. I didn't know if it was day or night. I started kissing everything in sight. When I kissed a cop at 34th and Vine, he broke my little bottle of Love Potion number 9. So I said, officer, can't I keep just a little bit of this stuff? I've been having such a good time. He says, no way, son. It's on the list of controlled substances. We don't know what it is, but you ain't allowed to have it. So I figured I'd go back to the gypsy lady and find out how she made that stuff. I go down that long dark alley. And there's sounds of the night. And creatures in the night. Now, you know, here's a little aside. You know, this is what Shakespeare doing. Nobody can hear you. So you see, the way the story goes is at the piano bar, when there are real live people there and I'm playing this song, and I say there's sounds in the night, and somebody go, woo! And I'd say there's creatures in the night, and I'd go, ow, 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 ow. Because, you know, everybody around the piano bar, they're drinking all night, you know. All you gotta do is give them a good idea, and they're gonna run with it. And that's why it's so much fun. You guys may be drinking, but I can't see it. There she is in the back. Let's just kind of fill in the gaps. There she is in the back, stirring up a new batch of stew. Boil, boil, toil and trouble and all that shit. She takes one look at me and says, I knew you'd be back. I can see it from that look in your eye. I said, hey lady, how'd you make that stuff? He said, it's really kind of simple. She said, you just take everything you got in the refrigerator, especially the green stuff in the back. You put it in the big pot and you stir it up. And then you wait 4 hours. And then you say the magic words. So I said, what are the magic words? She said, wait a second, you don't get it all for nothing. You got to figure some of this out by yourself. Here's what you got to do. You go out to the airport. You take the next plane you can to Tibet. When you get to Tibet, you hire a couple of Sherpa guys. Climb the highest mountain you can find. When you get up there, you wait all night long. You wait for the sun to rise. And everything starts to change colors. And then she said, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And gave me a wink. She said, I'm gonna mix it up right here in the sink. It looked like turpentine, it looked like any ink. I held my nose, I closed my eyes, I took a drink. I didn't know if it was day or night. I started kissing everything in sight. When I kissed a cop at 34th and Vine, he broke my little bottle of love potion number 9. Love potion number 9. I said, officer, can't I keep just a little bit? He said, no way, son. And by the way, this is your second offense. If I were you, I'd get home while I still can. So I went home and figured it out myself. That's the Ballad of Love Potion number 9. For a long time. When I look back, boy, you know I must have been green. Living in the country, fishing in the stream, trying to find an answer, searching for a sign. Then I saw your city lights, baby, I was blind. Get back, honky cat, you better get back to the woods. Well, I changed my ways and my redneck days and my whoa, 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 whoa. Change is gonna do me good. Get back, honky cat, living in the city ain't where it's at. Like trying to find gold in a silver mine. Yeah, like trying to drink a whiskey, whoa, from a bottle of wine. Well, I read some books and I read some magazines about the high-class ladies hanging down in New Orleans. All the folks back home, they said, now man, don't be a fool. You got to believe in the Lord, my friend. That's the golden rule. Get back, honky cat, you better get back to the wood. Well, I changed my ways and my redneck days and my whoa, 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 whoa. Change is gonna do me good. Get back, honky cat. Living in the city ain't where it's at, like trying to find gold in a silver mine. Yeah, like trying to drink a whiskey, whoa, from a bottle of wine. Honky cat, living in the city ain't where it's at, like trying to find gold in a silver mine. Yeah, like trying to drink a whiskey, whoa, from a bottle of wine. Get back, honky cat. Get back, honky cat. Get back, honky cat. Yeah, Honky Cat, Elton John. Woo. All right, 2 cats. One's not enough. I had 2 cats one time. One was a great cat, and the other I was allergic to, and I didn't know I was going to be allergic to him until I brought him home. I had a short-haired cat and I had a long-haired cat. The long-haired cat was, well, it was tough. Whenever anybody compliments me on my voice, I am flabbergasted. I mean, literally flabbergasted. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not making that up. Every single time it's like, really? Because when I started, I was terrible. When I started singing. So when I was in my 20s, I was living in Philadelphia, and there was an ad in the paper that said piano player wanted. Now I can tell you, for years I looked. I never have seen an ad. It's like a Twilight Zone, you know, so forth. It's like a piano player wanted. What? That never happens. But it did. I called up. I talked to the woman. She said, yeah, it's for a piano bar. She said, come in for an audition. And she said, but it's a piano bar, so you have to be able to sing. So I said, okay. And I practiced probably one of the most difficult songs to sing. But I didn't know enough about singing to know it was so tough. So I practiced the song, When Sunny Gets Blue. I go through it a couple times. I think I know it. I know the words, I know the things, and you know. So I go there for the audition, and she says, play something. So I was playing a lot of jazz then. So I started out playing all my Oscar Peterson imitation kind of stuff. And then finally she says, okay, let me hear you sing. So I close my eyes. When Sunny gets blue, her eyes are gray and cloudy. And I barely get to that part, and the next thing I know, she's tapped me on the shoulder. And I said, okay. She says, okay, that's enough. I said, okay. She says, you got the job. I said, great. But she says, but you don't sing. You just play. You let everybody else sing. Because I was terrible. So when people talk to me about they can't sing or they don't want to sing, I always tell them my story, because I'm good enough now that people actually like it, and it's only from doing it. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. And that's all you got to do. Just keep singing. If you keep singing, it'll get better. When Sunny gets blue, her eyes are gray and cloudy, and the rain begins to fall. Pitter patter, love is gone, so what can matter? No sweet love of man comes to call. when Sonny gets blue. She brings a sigh of sadness like the wind that stirs the trees. Wind that sets leaves to swaying like some violins are playing. Weird and haunting melody. People used to love to see her smile, watch her laugh. That's how she got her name. Since that sad affair, she's changed her style, lost her smile. Somehow she's not the same. But memories will fade, pretty dreams will rise up where the other dreams fell through. Hurry, new love, hurry near, kiss away each lonely tear. Hold her near when Sonny gets blue. Since that sad affair, she's changed her smile, lost her style. Somehow she's not the same. People used to laugh. Memories will fade, pretty dreams will rise up where the other dreams fell through. Hurry, new love, hurry near, kiss away each lonely tear, and hold her near when Sonny gets blue. Oh my goodness. I just can't twist, but she can rock and roll. This is Elton Rockin'. Well, I really got it off getting in your shoes. I wrote Tone Cold on the rhythm and blues. Let me tell you, honey, when the scene's on fire. I really got jazz when your sister said, throw away your records 'cause the blues are dead. Let me take you, honey, where the scene's on fire. Now your sister can't twist, but she can rock and roll. Out through the rockers in the rodeo dough. She's only 16, but plain to see. She can pull the wool over little old me. Your sister can't twist, but she can rock and roll. Your sister can't twist, but she's got more soul than me. Somebody help me 'cause the bug bit me. I'm up in heaven on a dancing feet. I'm back tonight to hear the music play. I'm gonna hear your sister blow the blues away. Really got jazz when your sister said, throw away your records 'cause the blues are dead. Let me take you, honey, where the scene's on fire. Now your sister can't twist, but she can rock and roll. Out to the Broncos in the rodeo dough. She's only 16, but it's plain to see. She can pull the wool over little old me. Your sister can't twist, but she can rock and roll. Your sister can't twist, but she's got more soul in me. She can rock and roll. Out to the Broncos in the rodeo dough. She's only 16, but it's plain to see. She can pull the wool over little old me. Sister can't twist, she can rock and roll. Sister can't twist, she's got more soul than me. Sister can't twist, she can rock and roll. 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 Sister can't twist, she's got more soul than me. Well, here's a song I haven't done in a long time, I don't think. About 5 years ago, 2015, I was back in New York City. And it was the 100th anniversary for Frank Sinatra. So they were playing all of his music. There was a big show at the Metropolitan Opera about him. And I heard this interview. And the guy said to Frank, he said, what was your greatest thrill? What was the greatest thrill you ever had? And this is the guy that, won Academy Awards and Emmys, everything there was to do. The chairman of the board. So Frank starts answering me. He says, I was at home. That got my attention. Watching television. That really got my attention. I could have been at home watching television. And then he starts to describe the scene. He says, we're watching the guys just take off on the rockets that are going to the moon. And he says, the announcer's doing that whole countdown thing about the 10 and the 9 and 8, and we're watching it. And when they get to 0, it starts and it moves like really, really slow, and then you didn't know whether it was going to break up and explode back then. So it's moving really, really slow. They take like forever to just get up 3 feet, and then they start moving slow. And then finally when it's flying up in the sky and it's getting off the ground and it's on the road, and sort of. And then they cut, and the announcer cuts away from the sound, and Frank says, the next thing I hear is me singing Fly Me to the Moon, because they were using him as the soundtrack. And he said, it gave me chills. He said, I got goosebumps all over. There was a gasp in the room. There were about 18 of us that were sitting there watching it. And it was just the magic of that moment that all of a sudden, but I just got chills. He thought that was the most amazing thing that I ever experienced. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. And fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I'm gonna be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right to the very heart of it. New York, New York. I wanna wake up in a city that doesn't sleep, to find I'm king of the hill, on top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it. New York, New York. And if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York. Now you don't breeze into New York and make it right away. It just don't happen like that. Our hero's working in a dive in Hoboken, New Jersey, trying to save up enough money to get across the George Washington Bridge. Every time he gets a little ahead, they raise the rate on him. It's about $20 to go across that bridge now. So he's singing a slightly different song. Oh, that's life, that's what people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. I know I'm going to change my tune when I'm back up on top in June. Baby, that's life, funny as it seems. Some people get their kicks of stomping on a dream. I ain't gonna let it get me down, 'cause this old world just keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a puppet, a pauper, a pawn and a king, up and down and over and out, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and getting back in a race. That's life, there's no denying. I thought of quitting, but my heart just won't buy it. If I didn't think it was worth a try, I'd roll up in a big ball and just die. Now you know perseverance pays off. So our hero's opening in Madison Square Garden. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep, to find I'm king of the hill, on top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it. New York, New York. And if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. So here's a song. It's a good finishing song. And this, I'm going to tell a little story here. Because, like, the first request I got today was for a girl from Ipanema. I don't know if you guys can see the song request queue. And when I do these shows, and I've did this kind of show in piano bars for years. But I also did, for about the last 25 years, shows in nursing homes, where I'd just go play for an hour and then go to another. So I would do like 2 or 3 shows a day. And I would ask for requests. And a lot of times, the first request would be a song like Stardust, Sentimental Journey. I don't know that a girl from Ipanema was ever the first in those shows, but it was certain songs St. Louis Woman, certain songs would always come up. And sometimes they'd be the first. So I took a trip to North Carolina, and I started to do shows. And the first show I did, I asked for requests, and the first request was for a song, Goodnight Irene. And I had heard the song, but nobody had ever asked me to play this song in all the years I've been playing in piano bar. Nobody ever asked me to play this song. It was never requested. But I knew the song, and it's a simple song, so I faked my way through it. And got through it, figured it out. By the time I started, everybody was singing along. It's that kind of song, and they helped me learn the words. I go to play another show that afternoon, and I ask for requests. After I do a couple of tunes, I say, anybody have something to hear? And the first request was for Goodnight Irene. Now, nobody ever asked me for this song in 50 years of playing. Nobody ever asked me to play this song, and now it was the first request 2 shows in a row. Well, I knew it because I'd just done it, so I did it, and everybody sang along, and a good time was had by all. Well, I'll make the story short, but that happened, and this is hand to God, and I have a witness, partner who was with me, and she was there. 10 shows in a row. For 10 shows in a row, every time I asked for a request, the first request was for Goodnight Irene. I mean, by the 8th and the 9th time, it was really scary. It was eerie. I mean, I could not believe it. Now, I was in North Carolina, and I could have understood it if it was for Carolina in the Morning, or Carolina Moon, or Carolina anything, or Dixie even, or something like that. But Goodnight Irene is a very popular song in High Point, North Carolina, I can tell you that. Last Saturday night, I got married, and me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife are parted, gonna take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Hey, Claudette. Now, sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in a town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Now, after the trip, I came back to California. And I was telling my kids this story because it was so unusual about how for 10 shows in a row, I got the same request for the first song. And they'd been with me during shows. They knew how it goes. So they said to me, hey, Dad, what was the name of the song? I said, it was something you never heard of. It was an old song. And they He said, "Oh, Dad, what was the name of the song?" I said, "What difference does it make? You never heard of it." And he said, "Come on, just tell us." So I said it was called "Goodnight Irene." And they looked at me like I was crazy. I said, "Dad, everybody knows the song Goodnight Irene. The Grateful Dead do it all the time. And if they do it, everybody knows it." So I got schooled. Now, gentlemen, stop your gambling. Stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and family, to your fireside so bright. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.